What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Concrete Edge right here on Deco-Crete TV. My name's Jeff, and on today's show we're going to have another Concrete 101 episode for you. And we're going to be going over some of the different types of concrete finishes available. And sometimes this is all about aesthetics, while other times a specific finish is going to be crucial for your concrete to function properly. So this video is going to give you the basic information that you'll need to select the best finish for your project, so stay tuned and you're going to learn all about it. So whether you're hiring a contractor to pour some concrete for you, or if you're doing your own DIY project, you're gonna have to select a finish. And with all the options out there, it's just important to understand the pros and cons of each one so you can make the best decision possible for your own unique situation. Now, before we even get started with the different types of finishes, I do want to make sure that we're all on the same page regarding the term finish. Now, what we're not talking about here is applying some sort of sealer or coating to the concrete to finish off the job after the concrete slab is all hard and cured. I mean, in the concrete world, finishing is something that happens the same day as pouring while the concrete is still pliable. Now, the job might not be completed yet, but that concrete slab is finished. I mean, sealing concrete really is just known as sealing, and you know, a slab of concrete is going to have a few different layers to it, and the aggregate layer makes up the bulk of the slab. It's pretty thick, and it's where all the strength comes from. Now, the surface layer, on the other hand, is pretty thin, but it's the layer that you're going to see in the end, and it's going to have tighter pores that protect the aggregate layer from water intrusion. I mean, putting a finish on concrete is really just creating some sort of texture or smoothing out the surface. So first up is Broom Concrete, and man, this is really one of the most common finishes for exterior slabs. I mean, that texture is created by pulling a broom across the surface at just the right time. And the broom marks that it's going to leave behind are going to provide traction, which makes Broom Concrete perfect for driveways, sidewalks, steps, front porches, or any other slab that needs to be anti-skid. Now, broom finish concrete certainly does require skill, but it is one of the easier finishes to learn, and it also just hides a lot of imperfections. So uncolored broom concrete certainly isn't decorative, but I gotta say that when it comes to driveways, a really nice crisp broom job still looks really, really good, and it is highly functional. Now, I know you guys might not all agree with me on that it looks good, and some of you guys might just refer to this as plain old broom concrete, and that really is the main downside. I mean, if this is you and you want your driveway to have a more natural stone look, I mean, that is definitely an option. It's just going to be more expensive up front, and you're going to spend more time and money on maintenance. Now, there aren't really too many drawbacks to broom concrete on driveways other than aesthetics. But what broom concrete is not good for is interior slabs. I mean, in that case, you don't need all that extra traction, and a smooth floor is just going to function better and be easier to keep clean. Now, another option for exterior slabs is swirled concrete, which functions pretty much the same as broomed. It's just a different look. I mean, swirled concrete is really kind of an old school technique, but there are still contractors out there offering it. So instead of pulling a broom across the surface from the outside of the slab, the texture is created by moving a hand float in a circular motion while crawling the slab on knee boards. Now, the pros and cons are pretty much the same as broomed, and if this is what you're looking for, then you're just going to have to find a contractor in your area that does offer it, and some of them might actually charge a little bit more for swirled over broomed. So next on the list is exposed aggregate concrete, and this would definitely be an upgrade from broomed or swirled as far as looks are concerned, and it's still going to have all the traction that you're ever going to need on driveways. And this look is created by applying a chemical to the slab after troweling and then washing the surface off at just the right time to expose the aggregate layer. Now, what this means is that the surface paste is now completely gone, so you won't have to worry about any spalling, but you will need to keep it sealed, especially on driveways. Now, I am personally a really big fan of exposed aggregate concrete. I mean, it's just a great option for someone who's looking for something a little bit more than a broom surface, but they don't want to deal with the maintenance of stamped concrete. I mean, what it really just kind of looks like really old, worn concrete, even when it's brand new, so the older it gets, it's kind of like the more natural it looks. Now, obviously, this wouldn't work very good for an interior slab, but the other drawbacks would be that the surface is a bit rougher than broomed, and you will have to deal with some stone pops over the years. Now, it's also going to cost you quite a bit more than broom concrete. So this leads us to stamped concrete, which is really the highest end of concrete finishes. I mean, it's the one that doesn't even look like concrete after it's all said and done. I mean, a skilled contractor can literally make your slab look like stone, wood, brick, or even tile. I mean, this is a really labor-intensive process that it's going to involve walking and tamping rubber stamps into every square inch of the slab. Now, there is also a few extra trips back to the job site for stamped concrete to do things like power washing, antiquing, touch-ups, and then sealing at the very end. Now, there are literally hundreds of different patterns to choose from, so the sky is the limit on design options. But with that being said, I mean, there aren't that many contractors or rental stores that you're going to find that have every single pattern on the market. So if you find one that you can't live without, well, you're just going to have to spend some extra money to get that set in. But just to give you some perspective, I mean, Deco-Crete Supply stores have around 35 different patterns for rent, and most homeowners can find one that's close enough to what they're looking for. So stamp jobs also are going to require color for the concrete and antiquing of some sort to make it look natural, and a high-end sealer when it's done. So with all the extra skills and labor that is needed to stamp concrete, as well as the extra materials, I mean, stamped concrete is definitely at the high end of the price scale. I mean, concrete's main job is to be a useful thing, but with stamped concrete, it can still function and look amazing all at the same time. So most of the stamped concrete you're going to see is exterior, but it does work interior as well, just depending on your situation. Beyond cost, the downsides would be that there are a little bit more ups and downs than there are on broomed or exposed concrete, and it will require a little bit more maintenance. I mean, we recommend a yearly power wash and a coat of sealer about every 3 or 4 years. So we're gonna finish things up with smooth trowel concrete, and this is really the main go-to option for interior floors. I mean, the whole point of finishing concrete with a steel trowel is to make it as smooth as possible. Now, you may have seen contractors steel trowel concrete before they broom or stamp it, but that's not what I'm talking about here by smooth trowel concrete. I mean, they might be using the same tool, but the finishing is done at a different time. I mean, to get it really smooth, the concrete's gonna have to be pretty set up. And this leads to a really smooth surface with tight pores that'll be easy to clean, and they just really don't require much maintenance. Smooth concrete can be achieved with a hand trowel on smaller jobs, but large-scale slabs are gonna require a power trowel to get the job done. On the surface of a power trowel concrete floor is really the hardest and most durable of any that we've went over in this video. A nice smooth trowel does take a lot of skill because the lack of texture means you're gonna see every little imperfection in the floor. Now, smooth trowel concrete isn't very good for exterior slabs, however, because it's gonna be pretty slippery, and exterior concrete is gonna need air entrainment, which makes power troweling an absolute nightmare. Now, if you do like the look of trowel concrete and you want an exterior slab that's just a bit smoother than broomed or swirled, talk to your contractor about just making one pass with a steel trowel. I mean, it's not going to be garage floor smooth, but it will have a different look from broom concrete. And you know, most contractors refer to this as a one-time trowel finish or a fuzzy trowel finish. Now, of course, there are other options out there like stenciled concrete, rock salt finishes. I've even seen people finish with a sponge that looks really cool. And some contractors can do like some custom trowel finishes that can look like stucco or a Tuscan trowel look. Now, another option would be incorporating multiple different finishes on the same slab. I mean, just a simple example would be a broom driveway with a stamp border. So just make sure that you talk to your contractor about all this stuff, and they'll be able to give you suggestions on what is going to function best for you, and most of them are going to have, they're going to offer different looks to fit your preferences. Now, if you're DIYing it, well, it's a really good idea to practice your finishing technique on some bag mix first, so that way you'll be ready to go once that mixer truck shows up and the concrete is ready to finish. Well guys, that's pretty much it for today's show. Hopefully this video was helpful in your pursuit to find the best finish for your concrete project. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Man, I just can't tell you how much we appreciate all the support that you guys give to the channel. Tuning in every week, always hitting those couple little buttons down there, like, share, subscribe. That stuff means the world to us. Please leave us a comment if we missed anything in this video, or if you have any questions about different finishing options for concrete. And if you are already subscribed, don't forget about that bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and it really does help our channel out. So from all of us here at Deco-Crete TV, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.